So Woody Harrelson in 1996, he got arrested for planting 4 hemp seeds, and now hemp is legal in Kentucky. So, you know, congratulations to Woody Harrelson and the people of Kentucky, since it's a progressive move that puts Kentucky, you know, closer out of the dark ages, closer to the modern age, not even near the postmodern age, but we're advancing. So that's always a good sign when you hear about folks advancing. And the person that got it through was a guy named Comer, the agricultural commissioner of Kentucky. So James Comer, he's the agricultural commissioner. So that's what he had got. He got hemp legalized last year, and now they're issuing licenses out for anybody who wants to raise hemp in Kentucky. So Woody Harrelson in 1996 had planted 4 hemp seeds, and then, you know, only 2013, so only 17 years later, Kentucky finally got on board with Woody Harrelson and says, hey, you know, let's get some shit crack-a-lactin'. And now hemp is legal. Mitch McConnell, his fucking prick, right? They're such fucking hypocritical pricks. Mitch McConnell is just basically Hal Rogers, and all these motherfucking Operation Unite douchebags have been coming in Kentucky just ruining life after life, thinking that's what's going to fucking, you know, solve the fucking drug trade. But there's, you know, there's like fucking cocaine. The sheriffs are involved with like dealing cocaine and shit. There's a bluegrass conspiracy, which there's an update with that. There's a, not really an update, but in 2008, so 6 years ago, the other main fucking dude out of the bluegrass conspiracy, so you have Drew Thornton, who jumps out of the fucking plane in 1985, right, when my second sister was born. So in 1985, that's when you have the Drew Thornton jumping out of his plane with $15 million or $17 million worth of fucking cocaine strapped onto him, 2 assault rifles, some African coins, and he jumps out, and you know, he smacks on the pavement and dies. So the other guy, he was running the company, right? So he ran a company. He was going to Colombia, picking up the fucking cocaine with a little Cessna plane, coming in, dropping it in fucking Georgia in the fucking hills, and then parachuting down in case of emergency, right? I guess he would like just walk and drive to the fucking pickup point. But evidently the mission was compromised for some reason. Probably a plane was following them, even though all the fucking, you know, official agencies all denied that there was a plane that they were following, but clearly that's what happened. So the other guy, Drew Thornton, was the guy who was running the company, and so there was 2 guys who was running the company, the drug smuggling ring, the fucking elites of Lexington. Okay, so the other guy was Billy Cannon, Cannan. So Cannon. So former WKYT reporter Sally Denton first broke the story back in the 80s. Many say Billy Cannon and Andrew Thornton, who served as detectives in the narcotics division at Lexington Police Department, were leaders of the company, a drug smuggling ring in Kentucky. So they used to be narcotics fucking cops, switched over, started getting into smuggling cocaine, other drugs. And then September 1985 is when Drew Thornton fucking jumped out. But Billy Cannon just got out of prison 6 years ago. So the other guy, who's 63 years old now, got out of federal prison on September 3rd. And they said they don't even know where he's at. He not only was he in part of the fucking bluegrass conspiracy, but he was also part of the mysterious disappearance of Melanie Flynn, who had been romantically involved with Flynn's family, who had been involved romantically with them, and then the family thinks that he killed her and dumped the body somewhere. So if he was this big fucking honcho running this drug smuggling ring, it's not that far-fetched to think that some drug kingpin might fucking murder, you know, an ex-loved one. So he could be a possible murderer. Has all these connections and shit, 63 years old, and they don't even know where they released him to. They said, you know, here's your freedom, congratulations, you made it. And actually, Tom Wallace, I think it's Wallace, the first black UK player, is going to get out next year. He's getting out next year, so you're going to have the black player of UK getting out next year. So he's able to serve his time, and, you know, theoretically he should just be released. He never got, you know, probation, never got out, you know, released on his own recognizance. Again, and before he was only released like 3 years before he was supposedly caught red-handed for raping, so hopefully he won't be raping anymore. 63 years old, or 60-something years old, old-ass man. Tom Walt's been in prison 66% of his life, 43 years. So, yeah, this guy just got out, Billy Cannon, who's part of the fucking Bluegrass conspiracy. But the, not Billy, but Denny Payman, right? I think so. The sheriff that fucking arrested the other guy. All that was about James Comer. He was the office of the commissioner, a native of Tompkinsville, elected Kentucky's Commissioner of Agriculture on November 8, 2011, sworn in January 2nd, 2012. So, I want to talk about, man, I got so many things I want to talk about. Who can arrest who? The sheriff can arrest the judge can arrest the sheriff, can the county attorney arrest anybody? Who's the most powerful man in a county in Kentucky? It's debatable, and it's determined on how the personalities interact. You could have a charismatic county attorney or sheriff or judge executive who can get the other guys on board with the ideas that they present. Maybe they have an equal sharing triumvirate, you know, where they always introduce the ideas to the other ones, and if they knock the ideas down, they don't do it. But if they get them on board, you know, so there's sort of like a democratic fucking triumvirate. But you have, all the laws in Kentucky for each state are uniform. So every Kentucky, you know, basically there's only, some of them have different magistrate numbers and constable numbers, but everybody's got a jailer, everybody's got, well, they don't have to have it. They're not constitutionally obligated to have a jailer, especially if they have no jail. But that's written in there. So, I mean, they have to have a sheriff, they have to have a judge executive, they have to have magistrates, they have to have, you know, a dog catcher. They need to have like the basic fucking people in order to run the goddamn fucking place. Lots of cabinet positions though. Judge executive can give out lots of cabinet positions, treasurer and whatnot. So who can arrest who? Okay. And I also want to talk about 10 Commandments. All the problems in Jackson County basically all stem because they took the 10 Commandments down. And January 28th, 2009. Jackson County citizens were saddened to hear that the 10 Commandments that have hung in the courthouse for almost 10 years were taken down Monday, July 20th after the courthouse had closed for the day. Jim Muncie, he was pissed off about it, and he had a meeting with the Jackson County Judge Executive William O. Smith, right? So he's fucking Judge Executive of the 2000s from 2007. He just got in there about 2 years. Wants to make some fucking hay about this. There was you had Eugene Phillips, who was a local resident, who was with the ACLU, had sued and said that the 10 Commandments being part of the courthouse was unlawful, which is true. That's how the Establishment Clause, you can only go one of two ways with the Establishment Clause. Either it says that there's a wall between church and state, so they can't endorse any religion whatsoever. They can't give textbooks or money or anything out to any religious organizations or churches. Or they could give money out to everybody equally. So if you want to have like an informational session, here's the 10 Commandments, here's the fucking laws of Islam, here's the laws of Buddhism, here's the laws of Satanism, here's the laws of Pastafarianism. You know, basically you have to get all the religions, so you have to encompass everybody. And so County Attorney Tommy Hayes and Judge Executive William O. Smith advised Muncie, due to the lawsuit, local resident Eugene Phillips, that they had to take it down. You know, they had to take it down. According to Muncie, he's the only survivor of 3 who originally received permission from the fiscal court in August 1999 to personally hang the 10 Commandments. So he's the only survivor. So it's like basically the last, you know, fucking Mohican. Toot Isaacs and Bill Gay have passed on. I'm the only one left, and as hard as it was, I knew it had to be done. I had to admit I shed a few tears as I took them off the wall, remembering how proud we were when Toot Bill and I hung them so lovingly 10 years ago next month. So, you know, that's basically, you got all the troubles that's happening in Jackson County. You know, ever since they took God and prayer out of the schools, you know, since homosexuality has become the norm, you know, that's just basically since Obama since there's a black president, you know, that's just when everything's just, you know, it's just being turned to shit, right? According to Muncie, on Tuesday, Jim Muncie said even though he had to take them down, he rejoiced when he was able to hang them up where nobody could have them removed. So he took it down from the public courthouse, but he was able to get Opal's Restaurant, Allen's Roberts Law Office, Mr. Bill's Grocery, S&T Hardware, Home Medical Supply, The Sun, and the Flower and Gift Gallery. So he was able to get lots of private businesses to hang up the Ten Commandments, right? So he was like, man, he's like crying because he has to take the Ten Commandments down, but he was able to get like lots of other. So really, he might have like, you know, expanded the love for the Ten Commandments instead of, you know, he probably was like the last Mohican, like I said, you know. But, you know, he was part of the fucking thing, right? It says, in the light of the current situation, Muncie said an account be set up at Jackson County Bank to enable people to donate funds for the purchase of a 5-foot stone tablet engraved with the Ten Commandments. Will have a permanent home across from the courthouse on private property belonging to a citizen. So he's building a monument to the Ten Commandments. Fuck, the best thing to happen in Jackson County for the Ten Commandments was this ACL lawsuit. And I was kidding about all that, you know, everything being fucked up from before. This is... you know, it's a non-issue, but they're wrong. You're wrong. If you got 10 Commandments hanging up in your courthouse, Kentucky's got a problem with doing that type of shit, and it's illegal. So if you got 10 Commandments up in your courthouse, you don't believe in the rule of law. You're not doing what's legal. You're not abiding by the law. You're abiding by your own law. Okay, so Woody Harrelson able to get the fucking hemp growers, cannabis sativa, the sheriff's race. On the topics poll, there is Brandon Gross, Tim Fee, Denny Payman, Paul Hayes, Randall Weaver, Keith Hobbs, Dee Neely, and Ronnie Lewis. So there is 8 people total that was running for sheriff. So you got 8 people in Jackson County who's going after Denny Payman's most powerful position. So Denny Payman's been able to consolidate a shit ton of power. He was able to get away with arresting the judge executive. There's probably going to be pushback, even more blowback, and he should definitely be watching his back. You know, they're going to try to find up if he fucks, you know, up for anything. If he even just has a beer, don't even chance getting in a car. Don't even really drink a beer. I mean, unless you know you're just going to be chilling for an hour. But that's so it's a hotly contested sheriff's race that he's engaged in. We're going to find out something in May. So he's got 3 months of campaigning, and you know, hopefully he gets back in there. I don't know about the other guys. Brandon Gross was winning the poll. 163 votes, 30% of the voters on topics had voted for Brandon Gross. Tim Fee, 27% of those voted on topics, voted for him, 148 votes. Denny Payman got 141 votes with 26%. So you got 2 people, according to this topics poll, Brandon Gross and Tim Fee, who's overwhelmingly, you know, basically stomped well by 20-something votes. So he's beating him by 20-something votes. So a person could get on topics and vote over and over again, so it's not 100%, but it does say something. Especially when you got Ronnie Lewis, who only gets 1 fucking vote. So Ronnie Lewis, his people don't know anything about the internet. Someone need to tell Ronnie Lewis that someone published his name online, and you might want to vote on it a couple times. Dee Neely, 12 votes. Keith Hobbs, Randall Weaver, Paul Hayes, they only got 20 apiece. So really, it's a 3-way race according to the topics poll. Kind of not scientific, but is an indicator of something. So Brandon Gross is winning, Tim Fee is second, and Denny Payman is coming in third. So it's a hotly contested race. He knows that, you know, his kind of back is up against the wall, and he needs to do something. You have, so, you know, not only does William, oh my God, I'm getting fucking arrested Smith, or William, oh my God, I'm not the fucking tyrant of Jackson County anymore, or William, oh my God, why did I become an independent and stay here for 18 years, and have a meth fucking making fucking, she was manufacturing meth, so she wasn't just doing meth, she was making this shit. They also found pills and weeds on her. So, you know, lots of fucking marijuana and fucking meth and fucking pills on his daughter when he's the one that brought in Operation Unite. So he's a hypocrite, right? He's an asshole. He's a prick. He's covering up his kid. You know, everybody can understand you defending your kid and all. But, you know, why you couldn't fucking put a handle on this situation. You're not a very effective leader. You're not a very strong fucking judge executive if you couldn't do that, especially since your policies was the war on drugs, Operation Unite. Fuck this person over for basically anybody that got fucked over for marijuana, pills, or meth in the last fucking 10 years. I feel like it should just be null and void because he knew about it. So, you know, that's a crime right there. I bet there's going to be other lists of crimes that eventually come out. There was an audit in 2011 that said that there was missing funds. I have like 4 sheriffs all across Kentucky have been arrested for many different things. For a DUI, for the Kentucky State Police, the KSP have gone and arrested a sheriff for domestic violence and even drug charges. So I wanted to go through some of these specific stories. I guess I get so excited with talking about everything else but the Denny Payman story, but everything else was interesting, and it was, I'm glad that I documented it in this series. The legalization of hemp, the federal versus state government, very much consistent with what the conversation in Jackson County is about, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the sheriffs who have got arrested in Kentucky. And let's see if there's other judge executives who's been arrested too.